I died. AMA. User Humble Bumble 77 writes, I died. AMA. I have died, was revived, and was on life support for quite some time. I also work in healthcare. Needless to say, being on both sides of the spectrum as a healthcare provider and patient survivor, after this incident has really heightened my perspective. Ask me anything. I was pronounced dead for a couple minutes, then placed on a mechanical ventilator for several days on the ICU. The experience was humbling. I felt absolutely no pain. I was comfortable even though my body was fighting hard against everything physically. I remember vomiting a few times while on the ventilator and aspirating, but it didn't hurt. I was surrounded by my family in the ICU, which was comforting. It was a bit like an out-of-body experience. I can still recall conversations my family had in the ICU room, but no matter how much I wanted to reply to them or even interact with them, I couldn't. That was the weird part for me. After removing the ventilator from my lungs, I remember seeing my grandmother who passed away in 2004. She told me to turn around. My time here was only beginning. Then, I felt the tube slide out of my lungs and the nurse yelling my name. I walked out of the hospital step-down unit. I really wanted to do so, even though my staff was adamant I take a wheelchair. I walked, and I'm so proud of myself for walking away from that experience. I felt a bit of muscle dystrophy since I was laying in the hospital bed for so long. I also had to tend to an open wound in my groin where they placed a central line, femorally. More than anything, I was grateful, happy to be alive. I referred to my grandmother as my genuine guardian angel. I do not really know if she came to me or not, or whether it was just the medication. However, it was comforting and opened my eyes to the real possibility of seeing my loved ones who have passed on again. Other than that, the experience was surreal. I mostly slept while on the ventilator, but I could hear my family's voice in the room with me. I knew where they were at. I couldn't move my real body or talk to them. I did have an out-of-body experience. People to this day have no idea how I can recall where they were sitting in the room and the exact conversations they had. This user asks, from this experience, what would you change about your current practice or incorporate from this, if anything? Firstly, I learned to live in the moment and never go to sleep with any regrets because, life is not guaranteed tomorrow. I never planned to go out to eat to lunch to celebrate my birthday and accidentally unalived myself. I also slow down and take my time to enjoy the beauty in life, such as the sunset. I teach my patients that life is short and it is full of obstacles and hardships, but at the end of the day, take time for yourself. Pull over to watch a sunset. It is beautiful and we are not guaranteed to see another one. Prioritize accordingly. In healthcare, I've worked both administratively and clinically. On the administrative side, everything is urgent. Signatures are needed immediately. However, on the clinical side, everything is also urgent. The patient coding gets my priority over signing a piece of paper. Perspective has wholly changed. And someone asked, how did this happen to you? Did you have a car accident or cardiac arrest? Great question. A cashew, a darn tree nut, took me out. I thought perhaps something really cool like hang gliding would have been the way I would go since I'm so adventurous, but nope. Cross-contamination with cashew during my birthday lunch. The reaction came on in just a few seconds while at the restaurant. My throat closed and my tongue started swelling. Unfortunately, no one had Benadryl or an EpiPen, which I keep 4 to 6 of, on me at all times now. I remember vividly being in the restaurant and gently reminding myself to remain calm. Everyone around me was staring. I could not only feel the pain at this time, but I knew my physical appearance was also changing. My head and neck were grossly swollen, and I was starting to get huge welts.